Eavesdropping used to mean sitting near someone to hear their conversation. It needed immediate proximity to the person speaking. With current technology, we are way past the barrier of proximity. Now we have SuperEar, an easy-to-make long-range eavesdropping device. So good and portable, you wouldn't even notice someone using it on you. Hi, my name is Vornite. Welcome to the show. As I have showed you in my previous videos, technology that was initially designed to do one task can be repurposed to fulfill a completely different task after its inception. Your old hard disk drive, for example, can be converted into a microphone by exploiting its sensitivity to sound. A hard disk drive works by storing information in a magnetic disk. To access this information, you need something called a read-write head. This head rests a nanometer off of the disk surface. At this distance, any sort of vibration can be detected and is able to misalign the head. Your voice can cause this vibration. There are safeguards to detect the vibration and make sure that the head stays where it should be. The same safeguard system can get hijacked and convert those same vibrations into sound. Essentially, the head on your hard disk drive gets turned into a diaphragm, similar to what you would find in a conventional microphone. Something that was never meant to be a microphone can be used as such because the equipment it's made of is sensitive enough to be affected by sound. Hard disk drives may not be common in households nowadays, but they are still widely used by corporations that need large amounts of storage. What is a lot more common are robotic vacuums like the Roomba. These friendly little robots know where they're going in your home by using something called LiDAR. This technology uses lasers to judge the depth and identify any object that might be in the way of the vacuum. Once again, something that isn't made to listen in on your conversations can and has been repurposed to make a makeshift laser microphone. LiDAR enables the vacuum to identify words by simply looking at sound reflective surfaces like a plastic bag in your trash can. You do have to hack the vacuum in order to commandeer it, but that has already been done successfully in the past. A laser microphone can see the physical vibrations in a surface and produce a visual representation of sound known as a spectrogram. These images can then be used to reproduce the sound that created the pattern in the image. The vacuum becomes a pretty precise microphone thanks to mathematical algorithms. Speech has a known frequency range, which helps eliminate irrelevant information in order to isolate the voice. I'm oversimplifying this, but you get the point. Your voice will make a surface like the trash can bag vibrate, and your vacuum's LiDAR will pick up those vibrations to reproduce what you said. It won't be as clear as a regular microphone, but just like with a hard drive, it's good enough to extract information. Suddenly, that cute robot vacuum seems a bit more insidious. You might not have one of these vacuums, but I bet you have a cell phone. This one is the wildest technology I found when it comes to eavesdropping on someone's conversation. When you use the cell phone itself to talk to someone, you hold it up to your ear and usually only you can hear the other person talking to you. With SuperEar, however, you can listen in on someone's conversation by simply walking behind them. You don't even have to be close to the person. SuperEar can successfully eavesdrop on you from around 4 meters or 15 feet away. Even in noisy streets, SuperEar can isolate the conversation. Just like the human voice has a range of frequency in which it exists, every other sound sort has one too. The noise at a construction site, traffic in the street, sirens, all of them have a unique sound signature, which makes it possible to identify and ignore. SuperEar can be built by just about anyone with technical know-how. You need off-the-shelf components like a Raspberry Pi, a microphone array, and a resin 3D printer to make the required metamaterials. The metamaterial is 3D printed as a circular object that will absorb the audio signals produced by your voice and the speaker on your phone. SuperEar can fit inside a purse, which makes it even easier to conceal. You wouldn't even notice someone using it on you. The technology that allows for all of this is becoming more and more accessible to anyone willing to learn about it. Eavesdropping on people's conversation, it's only part of the equation. You can also give inaudible voice commands to someone's phone through their wireless chargers. Voice-activated assistants have made it possible to remotely send voice commands to a phone through a wireless charger. You can hijack the charger and use its magnetic field to send voice commands that only your phone can hear. The voice commands you can give the phone are pretty limited in scope, but still create a vulnerability that can be exploited and used without your consent. There are two ways this can be done. One way is called the heartworm method, which would require the attacker to get a hold of the charger itself and modify it before the target gets to use it. The other method is called a parasite attack, which is a bit more useful and more dangerous. With the parasite attack, you can create an NFC mat that you can place over the charging surface. This mat can be easily disguised as a regular charging surface and hide it in plain sight. Even though the microphone in your phone is protected in a Faraday shell, they all have a small opening that allows for your voice to be heard. This hole is where the attacker can inject a voice command via the magnetic field generated by the charging coils inside the charging surface. The parasite doesn't need its own power supply because it will use a very small amount of power directly from the actual charger once your phone activates it when you put it on top. Even with the limited commands available, this vulnerability can present a big risk. What if your loved ones are the target, and when they try to call you for help, your phone is already on mute because of a rogue voice command? A simple charging pit stop at a public place has now become the reason why you didn't get that important phone call. I personally find this technology to be fascinating, and it shows us how sometimes devices in our household can be used for more than what their labels might say. Hard disk drives become microphones, vacuums that can see your voice. Who knows what other piece of technology will be repurposed in the future? If you want to learn more about the things I've mentioned, all my sources are linked in the description below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope to see you again for the next one. Peace.